the first big experiences I had when I was fursuiting. It happened at a little anime convention a couple months ago called OMG Con. This was the first con that I had my full suit done and ready to go out in public with ever. And I ended up having one of the most meaningful experiences I've had in my life up until now happen there. Um, I unveiled her Saturday, and I had an amazing time. I've had a partial in the past, but this was like my first full suit ever, so it was really exciting. People loved it. I had such a fun time. I walked around in this beautiful convention center, and people were always running up and giving me hugs. There was one girl before the rave who she gave me a candy bracelet. Ravers often have these plastic bead bracelets, and she was trying to give me one. And I was like, okay, you could put on my horn, because she put it on my horn. And then when I saw her later, she saw me again, and she was like, oh, you still have it? I want to give you another one, this really special one. Don't lose this one. So she gave me another one on the other horn, and she totally loved me. And there was all these different people that I just had so much fun. And it was my first time suiting ever, and I just had a great time in the few times I got out to go suit. So, Sunday rolled around. I had a great time thus far. And before I went, I was going to have 1 hour or so to go out and suit one more time before we had to go. So, I suited up, and I went out again. Still having a great time, lots of people excited to see me, taking pictures, getting hugs, all that fun stuff. And I made my way upstairs in this, again, it was a really nice convention center. It had a big glass open wall, 3 stories high, let in all this natural light. It was really nicely air conditioning, which paid off for me in the fursuit. So this time I went up to the 3rd floor, and I went around and I went around this corner to this little dead-end thing that I hadn't been to yet in my other times out. It was this little nook that had these temporary walls set up with open doors to panel rooms. And across from them, there was this glass wall, like the front of the building. And there was a person in the back, and there was this woman with a stroller over here. And I didn't go and initiate contact with anyone initially. I was just kind of exploring and having fun at the time. So I went up in my suit, up to the window, and I put my hooves up, and I'm looking around. I am really taking it in the view at this point, because it was very nice out. And I hear from the right of me, the woman with the stroller is like, do you see it? Look, do you see it? So I turn around a little bit, and I see that she's turned her stroller towards me, and she has no older than 3-year-old little boy strapped in, laying there in the stroller looking at me. So I'm looking at him, and there's a noise I make. It's like a deer call kind of sound. It's like this, I jokingly call it fart noises, because it's like, and I can have a bit of a vocal range with it. So I'm looking at him, I'm like, and his mom's just like, look, do you see it? Still all excited about it. Meanwhile, he, if you've ever seen kids that just aren't reacting at all to their surroundings, like little babies, he was just laying there like he could have been on another planet. But I'm still looking at him, Mom's still cooing, and then the ice breaks, and he goes from just nothing to all of a sudden he just lights up, and he's super so his mom is like, oh, okay, and she unbuckles him out of the stroller, and he gets out, and she's like, are you gonna blow him a kiss? They thought it was a boy, but he comes up, and he puts his face right up by mine, and he the ears go around him, and he's kind of touching him, and he comes up and he just puts his face right against my nose. It was so cute, and his mom's like, oh, yay. And he turns around, and he runs across the little way, and Mom's like, are you gonna go get Daddy? And he disappears into one of the panel rooms that was across. And meanwhile, while he's in there, Mom leans up to me, and she's like, thank you. And I'm like, it's cool. It's cool. I'm having fun. Excited kid. I'm getting a kick out of it too. He runs back out. He has this big guy following behind him, his dad, right? And he runs out, and he's pointing, and he's excited, and he comes out with Dad, and Dad's like getting a kick out of it too. And I remember he like comes up, and I bend down, and he's just like pointing and like, oh, look at this. And I put my hands out. I've got these awesome hoof hands. They're like resin, and he puts his hands on my like hoof hands, and he's like, and he turns back to his dad, and he just starts laughing. Like, all of a sudden, just like deep inside, was just like, ha 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 ha. Like, runs up to his dad. They're laughing now, too. And he keeps turning back to me, and then turning back to his dad. And then he runs back in the room again. And his mom's like, you gonna go get Bubby? And he comes back out. As he's coming out, I hid by the side of the door and kind of like leaned my head around, right? And he sees me when he's like got this like maybe 8-year-old kid behind him, his brother, and he's like, oh, like he gets such a like laugh out of the fact I'm there, and he runs out, and his brother comes out, and he's like pointing at me and like, are you gonna give it a hug? Are you gonna give it a hug? And the kid, he's just like, he'll come up to me and he'll like touch my legs or like touch whatever, like my fur or my face, whatever, and then he'll like run away and like laughing so hard. And like at this point, he's like, he'll turn back and like laugh so hard that he's just like, it sounds like he's only just remembering to breathe, because he's just like these big hyperventilating like laugh like he can't even like control his laughter because he's just this baby who's getting such a kick out of it. And his brother's like laughing. He's like, his brother comes up and he's like, no, see, like this, and like hugs me, and like the kid then runs back again to the other room. They're like, the family's all laughing like, you gotta go get your sister. And he like, needless to say, he comes back. He has this like slightly older girl. She comes out running after this kid who's like pointing, and like he's wiggling, cause like waddling like a little, cause he's just a baby, he can barely walk, right? And he comes up and he's showing the whole family, and he spins around in a circle, so I spin around in a circle. He'll like come up and he'll like, again, like my ears will just kind of like flap down, and he'll like play with them or like hug my face or like kiss my nose. He's just like cutest little kid ever. It was so adorable. And Mom is like, do you like the goat? Do you like say thank you to the goat? And he'll like come up and he would put his hands like on my face, and he'd be like, goat, like in a voice just like that. And he would just like hug my face, and he like, it was so cute. And like his whole family's like pointing at me being like, look at the goat, and he's just laughing so hard, and they're all so happy. It was so magical and cute, right? It was I was just inside like laughing to myself while interacting with this family because they were so friggin' excited. It was so funny. And you know, as things are winding down, his dad has him in his arm. He's like, from his vantage point, took it as an opportunity to again like pet my head and stuff, and it was so cute. And you know, when he stepped away for a moment, the mom leaned in towards me again and whispered towards me so I could hear it, just like when she had thanked me earlier. And she like came in close and said to me, thank you so much. That's the most laughs we've had out of him since his brother passed away. And it just hit me, and I was like, oh. Like, I don't even remember how I reacted because I was just so taken aback by it. But like, just then we were wrapping things up, so my last interaction with him was just like them being like, okay, say goodbye to the goat, say goodbye. And I was just like, bye. And, you know, my friend that I came down there with comes up behind me. I hear her call out my name. She's like, Pooka. And I turn around and she's like, oh, you have fun with the kid or whatever? I'm like, yeah, I was just playing with him and he did this and this. And I told her the whole story. And his mom just leaned in and told me, thank you, because it was the most laughs they've had out of him since his brother passed away. And she was just like, oh, like she was just quiet. And like, then she was like, that's what it's about, man. And we were just like holding back tears or whatever and being like, yeah, that was what it's about. Like, it's so corny, right? But like, I really in that moment felt like that really was what it was about. And I started fursuiting because I like thought it looked so fun and just running around and being in this crazy costume and the art of it and the funny interactions with people. And I never imagined I was going to be the person that got some deep, like, meaningful interaction with a family like that. I didn't think I would be able to because I'm so weird and awkward and strange, right? And I just didn't feel like I even deserved to get that much of a moment. And, you know, for just that moment, a family that was in distress because of such a tragedy, for that moment, their, like, kid forgot that he was in a sad world and just laughed again, and the whole family was so happy. Like, I look back on it and I wonder, was their big reaction and their huge happiness because he'd been, like, not laughing for a long time? I don't. I can't even imagine. It was just so intense. And it was one of the most humbling experiences I've had in my life, honestly. It kind of changed my life, or at least just gave me something to really think about. And I still think about it, and the rest of that day it just weighed on me the whole day. It was amazing. And it was so sad and so happy at the same time. It was it was amazing. So, thank you for listening.